Okay, good afternoon, student. So one student is doing annotation, marking with pen. So kindly remove that. Yes. So who one is doing that? Stop that. Okay. Okay. Soon we are starting the session. Now we have 150 participants. Yet a few members are joining. More 2 minutes. We will wait and we will start. Khushi. Abhinaya. So we are seeing who is annotating. So kindly don't annotate. Dhruvi, we all seeing who is doing annotation. Okay, we have admin access. So don't do annotation because we all are directly connected with your schools. So kindly remove. Okay, and now we will proceed for today's session. Okay, without losing much time. Yeah, so if you are really interested in listening, design thinking and ideation session, then be here and don't do any annotation over here. Fine, because today's session is really going to be very much interested. Hmm? And you're going to see some activities over here. Okay, so don't do annotation. Yeah, we are taking out your rights to annotate also, but we will take 2 3 more minutes, and we are clearly seeing here who is doing annotation, so please don't do, otherwise we need to inform your schools. Fine. Okay, so Astha, stop doing that. Okay, so today we are going to have look on design thinking and ideation topic. So it is really very interesting topic, and for your projects this topic is really going to help you. Okay, so how you will progress, that things you are going to see in today's session. So today we have Dikshit sir with us, um, and he is good in artificial intelligence. He is a PhD scholar, and learning and researching in artificial intelligence. So I'm requesting Dikshit sir to hand over today's session, to take today's session.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Supriya ji. Hello, everyone. This is Dikshit Kumar. So, in today's session, we are going to have a topic around like design thinking and ideation. So, which will be very useful in everyone's life. Well, so before going ahead into the session, it's like, have you think about like, are you a design thinker at any point of time? I mean, when you are being in the school or being at home. So I mean, you can reply your answers in the chat bot here. Okay, so that I can visualize. Okay, so whatever you type the answers, I can see up here. So do you think are you a design thinker? Yep, I'm not getting any answers.
Yes, students, you have option for chat box, so please write your answers in chat box. Yes, Ponima is saying yes.
Yeah, yes, Purnima.
Yeah,
Very good.
Roshni, yes.
Yeah,
And
great,
yes.
great.
Yeah.
Yes, frankly, telling we are design thinkers actually in our daily life because when you look at your life, like we are solving a small problems, right? In every day in our life. You agree? Like it could be a homework problem, or it could be of some fighting with your friends, or mischievous things, or whatever, right? So if you find some problem, right, you are going to try to find some solution. Yes or no? Yes, very good. So the person who can find a solution for a problem is known as a design thinker. Okay. But when you're working or when you want to solve some real world complications or real world problems, okay. So like just actually how we are dealing with the issues which we are facing in our life, it's not going to be the same because we have few challenges and few complications are going to be come up, right? So that's why we need to understand like in which way we need to design or in which way we have to think to solve the problem. Okay, so without much making delay, let's go into the session. Okay, just give me a minute. Why the screen is not moving here? Yeah, okay, now it's working. Fine. So the very first things come to our mind. So what is an idea? Right, so because in our daily life we used to think or we used to have some ideas a lot, right? We sit in our rooms and we are going to get some ideas. If you find some problem, you try to think like how I need to solve it, or if you find something, then you will think it like in what I have to do with it, right? I mean, you are making some thought processing. So that's what the idea. So in simple terms, you can say it as a thought or a suggestion as to make a possible course of action. So you're making a thought or you're making or giving a suggestion where there is a chance where we can make the thought into the action. So yeah, ideas could be generated at various places, like when you're sitting alone, or when you're being at the group, or when you're learning something, or when you're watching something, right? So you can get an idea. And most of the ideas in our life are come up with the observing the nature. Okay, so I'm going to show you an small video. Okay, and then we'll go ahead with it.
30 years ago, Japan's famous bullet train had a problem. When it travelled through tunnels, it made a loud boom. It was disturbing to wildlife, passengers, and people who lived nearby. So why was it happening? Air was building in front of the train as it entered a tunnel. The compressed air created a sound wave, and as this left the tunnel, boom! A sound like a gunshot came out. This air was also slowing the train down, like wading through water. The kingfisher bird's long, sharp, pointed bill is perfectly shaped for plunging into water. Long, narrow, and streamlined, it steadily increases in diameter from the tip to the head. This reduces the impact when the bird hits the water. It slides in, the water flowing past the beak rather than being pushed in front of it. Exactly what the bullet train was failing to do. The train team studied the beak, which resembled two triangles with rounded edges, together forming a squashed diamond shape. And so a kingfisher's bill helped them design the train nose. When it was tested, the Kingfisher bullet train was faster, quieter, and more powerful, with 30% less air resistance than before.
Yes. So just now we saw a video. Okay. So where by just observing the nature, by looking at the bird nose design, where people can have built the bullet trains, which can go faster than the regular trains. Right. So the idea behind coming up with is very interesting, right? So it's all the source and the information is available around us. Okay, so we need to understand it and we need to have some analytics to do it. So if you have observed this video, you can see the profile of the nose of a bird. So it has a specific design over there, right? It's like a parabolic design where if you see over there, right? So what happens when a train is entering? If you have a straight cylinder kind of shape of a train into the hole of a hill, what happens is we are going to get more air pressure could be increased, as well as the sound wave which is producing would can create some blast as well in the mountains. Okay, so
Yes,
to
sir. Uh,
reduce the,
Sir,
yeah,
sorry for disturbance, but
yeah.
you have option to mute annotation. So can you see that? Yeah, in more, I think you may have.
Uh-huh. Okay, disable. Okay, yeah, I have made disable annotations.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
so yeah, so this gives us an idea like so even we can see or generating or creating a fastest bullet train is not easy, right? But when you look at to get an idea to develop a fastest bullet train, you can see the base example is the bird nose structure. Okay, so that's how the ideas could be generated just by observing the nature around you. You can build up so much engineering. Okay, so that's a very basic thing we need to understand when you're going to solve any problem or any kind of application. Okay, yeah, so let me take next here. Okay, so the next question to you, so I need your answers as well parallelly. I'll keep it here. So is idea alone sufficient to solve the problems? Students, I mean, you can say yes or no. No. Great. Okay, I'm getting many replies as no, no, no. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So if I have just an idea, so it's not possible for me to solve the real world problems, then what else is required for me? Okay, so let's have a look here. Or what else is required? Yeah, the answer is firstly no. And then along with the idea, we need to have a knowledge related to like what we are dealing with it, what are the field you're working with it. Okay, and then we need to have some analytics. Okay, so like what are the knowledge you have, convert that into the equations or convert into some analysis before solving it to the real world problem. And if I have knowledge and I know what is the analytics, but still it's not sufficient for me to solve the real world problems, because I need to have a methodology. I should know like where I have to implement my analytics, where I have to grab my knowledge, from which field I need to grab my knowledge, and how I need to interpret all these together. Okay, so if all these together, having an idea and knowing about the knowledge and having analytics to the knowledge, and if you know the methodology, like how I can use these entities in a very particular way, then I can call this as a design thinking, which could solve the real world problems. Okay, so I have a small activity here. Okay, so just observe this picture. Okay, I have given an image for you. This is an first activity what we are doing here before going in detail about the design thinking process. So just by looking at this picture, could you tell me like what idea you are getting? You can tell me like what I can make or what I can do something by looking at this image. So this is a nature, like a human speaking, a person is talking to you, like observing that, what you can make it. Yeah, so I can see a few answers here. Okay, so you can't hear my voice. Is everyone
You are
having the
audible.
same issue?
Yeah, yeah. It's clearly visible and you are also clearly audible.
Okay, great, great. Okay, I hope there might be no issue in my audible voice. If it is there, let me know. Okay, sure. Yeah, just by looking at the picture, like what you can, what idea you are getting here, like just observing it. Okay, a person is talking to nature. A person is speaking, and pictures shown that is vibration of the sound. Okay, great. Okay, a person is speaking. A person is communication. Okay, okay. Air is compressed. Oh, great. Okay, communicating or generating waves. Okay, different wavelength. Okay, vibration of sound, and a person is speaking. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. So so when we observe a picture, see, like we are getting so many different of ideas, right? So it could be of anything. So basically the person is talking here. So while talking, he is going to generate few waves over there, right? But by looking at this, what I can build. So we have seen in the video, by looking at the nose profile of the bird, I can able to build a bullet train, right? So with this, can you tell me like what I can build it for a purpose of like public or for the social nature? So what I can build from this, from the basic example of a person who is speaking here. Mike, okay, great. Voice recorder, okay, very good. So megaphone, okay. Speaker mic, okay. Voice difference in speaking, okay. Audio generator, very good. Okay, great. Loudspeaker, yeah. So perfect. So that what applications you are seeing are really make sense by looking at the picture. Okay, so as I'm working in AI field, so let me take one fine example. So which we can implement it with the help of the human voice. So hope everyone might familiar with the voice assistant, like Hey Google. Everyone use Google Assistant, right, in your mobile, right? Yes or no? Exactly. So we use Google Assistant, or if you are having iPhone, probably you might be using Siri, right? So to get some input, or you want to call someone, we are going to ask them, okay, Siri, call me some X person, right? And if I want to search something, then I say, hey Google, just open my Facebook or Twitter page or whatever, or open my WhatsApp or whatever, right? So we are doing it. So the voice assistant or voice recognition, so this is one of the very booming application in current days. Okay, so if I want to make an very smart public transport system, where in a bus stand I want to make a voice assistant to the customers or the users who are coming to the bus stop, need to know the details of the bus which is coming here. And if I ask something like, because we know like how the transport system could be, because we wait in the bus stop for a long period of time, still we won't get the bus, right? We get disappointed, or we are going to get delay for our work. So what I can do is, with the help of, by observing my voice nature, I can create one voice assistant, okay, inside the bus stop, where if I ask to that voice assistant, like, may I know if I want to go this area, so could you tell me like what would be the approximate time that bus could come there, right? So if the voice assistant is delivering you, yeah, so it is going to reach in 10 minutes, right? You can plan accordingly, right? So this is how we can build very complex applications with just observing the nature. Okay. So very well done, guys. So I got very good responses from you, like how we can create various applications just observing the video. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide. Okay, so let's learn about what is design thinking. We just understand an overview, like how the design thinking looks like, but exactly what design thinking is. So design thinking is a methodology that designers use to brainstorm and solve complex problems. Okay, so design thinking is uh, just not about like randomly we are thinking and we are going to implement it. So there is a methodology. So if you follow this kind of steps in any problem or any project which you are taking up, so you it will make your project more sensible and more fruitful and give you the very promising results. Okay, and moreover the design thinking is blend of in logic and creative imagination and the reasoning. So these three are the very peculiar things need every designer, every design thinker need to have, because we should have some logic like how to apply it. Okay, more or logic, you need to make it much more creative imagination to make things out of box. Okay, and moreover the reasoning. Okay, so we should know like how it has to perform, like what in what scenarios it needs to be behaved. Okay, so these three elements are very much important for any design thinker. Okay, and yeah, this is a statement I would like to mention, because most of us, I mean in the world, real world, most of the challenges in the world do get not solved because people try to address those problems focusing too much on the problem statement. Okay, so I got one problem here, okay, or a problem statement. So we just keep on worrying about it, like how I can go ahead, or if I don't have a problem statement, then I'll stuck up there, like how I can create the problem statement. Okay, for example, if I have problem statement, then we'll stuck up again, like how I can find a feasible solution for the problem statement, right? But if you have a proper methodology, and if you know what are the steps to weigh the solve, or you can, if you are become a design thinker for a particular problem, you can avoid this issue straight away. We'll see like how we can overcome this problem statement as well. Okay, and moreover this design thinking is going to help us in optimizing the capabilities. Okay, like whether we can able to make our system more beneficial in a way where it could implement in real world scenarios where it has a capability to achieve it, and it going to say you whether the idea or the work what you're doing is feasible and can provide a viability analysis. And moreover, it's very important thing where you'll come to know whether it is addressing the needs of the customer, right? Because the third point which I'm mentioning is the very important, because whatever the work you are doing, whatever the idea you are implementing for your project, so you need to understand, you need to satisfy, or you need to address the problems of the customer, right? Yes or no? Yeah. Well, so this is one more important slide, and then we'll have some more activity from after this slide. So the principles of design thinking. So these are the pillars. Like if you want to make sure you want to solve any real world problem. So before taking up the process, what are the idea you are taking, and what are the process you are going to achieve to solve the problem? You need to make the foundation based on these four principles. Okay, so what are they? The very first one is a human rule. So what that human rule states? So this rule states that all kind of design activity are ultimately social in nature. Okay, and the ambiguity rule. So this rule requires all the design thinkers to preserve ambiguity in the process of design thinking. And the third one is redesign rule. So the redesign rule states that whatever the designs you are making are basically examples of redesign. So whatever the model you are making, whatever the process you are making, whatever the design you are thinking, so make it of a redesign, because you made some assumptions, and with the help of information you have created one with the help of design thinking process, you have created one product or one particular application, but end user is not satisfied. So what will you do? So we are going to redesign it again. Okay. And the fourth one is tangibility rule. So where make something, whatever the thing you are producing, make it of little touch and feasible. Okay, so that's how the tangibility rule says. The tangibility rule states that making ideas tangible always facilitates communication between the design thinkers. Okay, yeah. So these are the 5 steps in design thinking process. So this is a very important thing to understand by everyone. Okay, so if you follow these 5 steps in any project, you are going to get a very beneficial output. Okay, so the very first step is empathize. We'll see like what is empathize, and the second step is define state. We call this define state, and the third is the ideate, and the fourth is a prototype, and the fifth is a test. Okay, so you need to if you follow these 5 steps in any particular project or any problem solving, you're going to get the very better results at the end. You're going to satisfy the customer or the user needs. Okay, so let me play a small video here to understand empathize, and we'll discuss much more here.
Step 1. Empathize. The purpose of Step 1 is to conduct interviews that give you an idea about what people really care about. We need to empathize with their situation. For example, if you want to help old people, you might find that they want to keep the ability to walk around. In your conversations, they might share with you different ways they can do that. Later into the interview, you'll want to dig a little deeper, look for personal stories or situations where things became difficult. Ideally, you redo the process with many people with the same problem.
Okay, so this is just a glimpse where you understand like what is empathize is. Means eventually we are trying to understand here like what is the requirement from the user or from the customer here. Okay, so how you can get the information from the customers or from the user? By conducting an interview. So this is one of the way where you can make your product very qualitative by getting the data from the user. So you need to remember these few points before interviewing the user, okay, or the customer. So what the interviewer must brainstorm for the questions beforehand and must be fully prepared before the interview. So make sure, so you have a list of questions before in hand, like what you want to ask them. So like you're going to get an proper information which is required for you to build it. Okay, and make sure whatever the questions you are asking to the person or to the user, make sure they should be open questions. So don't ask the questions which are like binary kind of thing, like yes or no. So don't make a single statement questions where he can ask you, where if you ask someone he say yes or no. So don't make such questions. Okay, because that won't give you much internal feeling of a user. So you need to understand the feeling, or you need to understand what exactly the uh, user is like what he wanted from the design thinker. Okay, and moreover the interviewer must have plenty of why questions. So because this gives us very much informative, you can use the 5 why rule here to understand the requirements from the user. Okay, so here one more activity over here. Okay, so we I'm going to ask a few questions to you. Okay, so you need to answer me here. So this is a very initial stage process of empathize. Okay, so let me open here the chat box. Okay, so if I want to get resources for, I mean, we already defined by looking at this picture where we can create so many applications. So as we have understood, like let's go into create some voice assistant. Okay, as a person, as just think you're a guy, you're a design thinker. Okay, you are going to design a design process for creating a voice assistant. Okay, So can you tell me, just everyone just put one question, like what you will ask for the user to understand the voice recognition. Yeah, students, you can post there in the chat bot. Okay, why there is a black box?
Okay,
Okay.
actually, the chat options which you are seeing, no? So
Mhm.
here we are seeing it as a black box.
Okay.
Ha.
Okay, fine.
But students, there is no meaning of that, so you can ignore that.
Yeah.
That sir is seeing your messages. That's why that black window is there.
Yes.
Nothing else. Yeah.
Okay, sorry for the interruption because I was not aware. So I'm just seeing your replace in the chat box. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to repeat the question here. So the activity is, so you are a design thinker. Okay, just imagine you are a design thinker. So by observing this, you are going to create a voice assistant for the user. Okay, I'm going to implement this voice assistant in the bus stops where it is going to assist the users who are going to get into the bus. Okay, so before developing this voice assistant, so I need to know the information. So like what questions I can ask to the user. Okay, what languages do people understand as voice recognizer is some specific languages. Okay, great question. Okay, okay, my voice is not coming.
It's clear. It's
It's clear.
clear. No issue.
Next is time. Okay, so where are you going? Okay, great. Location. Okay, great. Map. Okay, destination, stations. Okay, places where the user go. Okay, language, distance, why vibrations are formed. Okay, I'll explain you the technical part later. Okay, how many people are traveling. Okay, nature, destination. Okay, time. Okay, tickets. Okay, all bus information. Yeah, destination, nature. Yeah, great. Yeah, you are absolutely being a design thinker here actually, because you understand like what is the requirement, right? So because we have some knowledge, right? Because this is the very first part, in the very first slide we have discussed. So you have an idea, I want to create a voice assistant for the user, but if I want to ask some questions, I should have some knowledge, right? Because with a blank mind, I can't go and ask the user like, what is your requirement, right? So with the help of your knowledge, like whatever the answers or whatever the questions you have been posted in the chat box are really making very much sense to make a voice assistant here. Okay. So very wonderful job in this activity. So I got a very good questions over here where you can ask for a user to get some resource information. Okay. Yeah. So we'll go to the next slide. Okay, so let me play one more small video here to understand the to understand the stage, and we'll discuss much more in it as well.
Step 2. Define the problem. Looking at the interviews, you can now understand the actual needs that people are trying to fulfill with certain activities. One way to do that is to underline the verbs or activities that the people mentioned when talking about their problems, like going for a walk, meeting old friends for tea, or simply going grocery shopping around the corner store. You might realize it's not so much about going out, but more about staying in touch. After your analysis, formulate a problem statement. Some elderly are afraid to be lonely. They want to stay connected.
Okay, great. So, I mean, this is the second stage in your design thinking process where you're going to create your own problem statement. Okay, by this time, when you complete the empathize state, okay, so let me write it here, the activity, we'll go ahead. So before going activity, so let me explain you a few things here. When we are done with ambiguity stage, means we got all the requirement sources, requirement information from the user. So now you are in a stage where you are very pretty much clear, like what is user expecting from you as a design thinker, right? So now it's all you, like how to generate a problem statement. So there are few scenarios where you need to understand before creating the problem statement. Okay, So for example, in this activity, we are going to make a small problem statement. So where you are going to write your own problem statement based on the knowledge which we have which we have got from the user here. Okay. So I'm going to open the chat box again here. Okay. Sorry for the black box again. Okay, because I need to look at your questions. I mean, in your problem statement here. Yeah. Okay, I'll repeat my question here. So we have finished the empathize state. So we got, just imagine you got some information from it. Okay. So with the information, you want to make some problem statement, because with the problem statement only, we are going to go ahead with the ideas and the prototypes as well. Okay, we'll discuss that later. So please define a problem. Just write a problem statement for the voice assistant. So please try it. Don't worry whether it is making sense or making not sense. Don't worry at this point. Just try to write your problem statement on your understanding for the voice recognition. So you can put it in the chat box here. Okay, the problem statement is language can be different. Okay. So it is understanding different accents. Okay, maybe some people don't know that there is an assistant. Okay, voice cannot be reached. Okay, great. It requires much battery, so need to charge it regularly. Okay, assistant, it is not understanding different languages. Okay, great. A problem in a voice. Okay, so internet issues. Okay, great. Some people can damage that. Okay, assistant is not understanding different languages. Okay, it's reaching out of command. Oh, that's really good. So how much kilometers is left? Okay, doesn't understand phrases, image, internet issues, and people can damage. Yeah, so wonderful, wonderful. I can see the lot of problems. Yeah, this is really true. So you are really being involved in the design thinking process. Okay. Yeah, so the problem statements, which is going to make a clear statement like which issue of the user you are going to address there. Okay, so when you look at the voice recognition, so we have a lot of challenges. Okay, so as many of you have been mentioned here, that's really good, where we can have different accent even though you're speaking English. For example, let me constrain my voice assistant with one language. Okay, so in one language itself, we have so many different accents are there, right? So it's really hard for us to make machine to understand all the different accents. Okay, so really in voice recognition in true word, dealing with accent is really a very complex job. So that's very one of the problem statement. I was very glad like a lot of people have mentioned the same. Okay, so where it's not possible to understand the different languages and the accent problem. Okay, so wonderful. You have given a very professional way of problem statements here. Thank you, students. So let's think one of the problem statement is it's very having complications in understanding the accent. Okay, so okay, now we got the problem statement. Okay, and the next thing we are going to see here is the ideate. Okay, let's have a look on this video, and then we'll discuss much more detail like what this stage is going to be.
Step 3. Ideate. Now focus only on the problem statement and come up with ideas that solve the problem. The point is not to get a perfect idea, but rather to come up with many ideas, like unique virtual reality experiences, senior-friendly hoverboards, or a modified pushcart. Whatever it is, sketch up your best ideas and show them to the people you are trying to help, so you can get their feedback.
Okay, great. So this is really a very crucial stage in the design thinking process, because this is where we are going to give an ideas like how we can approach to solve the problem statement. Okay, so to this, because we always prefer as a team, I mean, whenever you go around the world, when is there any real world problems, so each problem is not solved by individual guy. Okay, there might be a group of people together where they have solved the complex problems over there, right? So imagine you have a group of people there. Okay, so when you're a group of people, you need to make a brainstorm. So this is a very important stage in your design process. So here is the here is a stage where you're going to take ideas from all around the people or around the team to understand like how we can approach to solve this problem statement. Okay, so please make sure there are few rules to be followed to make your idea much more better. It's not like simply just I give some idea and let's work on it. Okay, so at the initial beginning, so don't hesitate or don't stop anyone in the team to give the different ideas. Okay, whether they are mischievous, whether they are silly, yeah, fine, just listen like what is his intention, what he's trying to say. So later we'll think it whether it is feasible or not. But initial point, drag and keep in the bucket like as many as ideas you want to be here. Okay, and to create these ideas, like you can use any board, whiteboard or sticky notes or sketching. And moreover, the person who is representing his idea, make it as a pictorial form. Okay, the pictorial form representation to give more worth rather than saying words. Okay, so we'll take the ideate stage. So what happens in the ideate stage is in the beginning, so don't stop anyone who is willing to give idea for you in the team. Let's allow them and make sure bring as many as ideas is required. And the second thing is while brainstorming the ideas which you are discussing, so initially don't think whether this idea is feasible, possible or not. Okay, our first agenda in ideate stage is grab the maximum ideas. Okay, and then you can use like stick boards or sticky notes or chart papers, or you can use some mind maps. Okay, so there are different things are available to represent your ideas over there. Okay, and at the end we collect all the ideas together. Okay, so let's get into the activity here. Okay, so this is a problem statement we are already familiar. Okay, this is a voice assistant, and we are going to deal with one of the problem statement is the accent. Okay, so now let's imagine, including me along with you, all the participants here, 158 participants. So we are all a team together. Okay, so let's brainstorm ourselves and we'll create an idea like how to solve the problem here. Okay. Okay, so can you tell me, can anyone of an I? Okay, I'm getting some text here. An idea about accents is what we hire from the communities, countries, etc., so that the assistant can know the languages and the assistant. Okay. So next person, the Priyanka Chopra. So there should be a voice assistant on each and every seat on the bus in the form of attached tablets so that everyone in the sitting bus can use that. Okay, great. Yeah, still more. So that's what I'm saying. So don't think whether your idea is silly or mischievous. So you can just portray your intention towards it. Okay, maybe you think it might be silly, but that could be a solution at the end. Okay, we don't know it. Okay, so like in the planes. Okay, okay. Next from Shruti Purohit. So they will train the assistant and it will learn the language. Okay, great. Okay, Parishamida, there should be a voice assistant at the gate while entering. Okay, great. Okay, next Purnima, she's saying the device is fixed in the door of the bus. Okay, so Bharti, wherever it is installed, it should know all languages that is in that area. Okay, next, yeah, so I'm getting more here. Okay, it's Vivo 19. Sorry, it's been represented here something like this. Okay, let me scroll a little up. Yeah, so I'm getting a lot. Yeah, assistant should know all the language. Okay, great. I agree all your ideas here, but in this activity, it's all about like how to solve it, because we already initially we made the ideation process. Like we know we want to create the voice assistant. Okay, with the problem statement, we understand we want to make things to understand. But here in this, I want to make an idea like how to solve it. Okay, Yeah, you are saying is exactly true. Like where I have to put it, either in front of the door, in front of the seat. Yeah. So when we are going ahead, we need to associate in all those places over there. Yes, that's really true. But if I want to solve it, like how I can put an idea. Okay, so this is all like one basic idea I do give us, like just understand your talking nature, like just analyze your human body, analyze your voice. Okay, so what happening when I hear something through the ear, I am doing some processing is happening in my mind. Okay, and then accordingly I'm going to get some output here, right? If you ask me how are you, then some processing is happening in my mind, and at the end I'm going to reply you like yeah, I'm doing good. Okay, so what's happening there? So how the system is working? So that's the idea. Okay, so I want to solve here the problem over there. Okay, need to add auxiliary details for the languages. Okay, great. Yes. So here, very simple idea is to analyze how my voice and the ear is working. If I combine my recognition, I mean my ear system and the talking system together, I can solve the problem where we are generally facing the problem statement here to learn about the accent. Yes. And one more problem with it is it's a different accent. Okay, to our extent, we can understand to some extent, right? If you're talking in English and if I change little accent, I may feel find hard, but at the end I can capable to do it because as a humans we are very intelligent by born. I mean I'm talking about the systems. Okay, so everyone it has own functionalities. Okay, so it can easily do the complex job in a very simple manner, but when it comes to the machine we are going to have a lot of challenges there. Okay, so that's a technical part, so we are not discussing here what the technical thing we have to do to overcome, but the purpose of the activity is like what is the idea you need to make sure to solve the problem. Okay, yeah, so I have seen a very wonderful ideas here where they have been portrayed the students. So this really great. You're really awesome students, so you're making more uh, you're being more like a design thinkers actually. Okay, so let me go ahead with the next things. Yeah, so this is the one more stage which is the prototype stage. Okay, I mean let me play this before discussion.
Step 4. Prototype. Now take a moment to reflect on what you have learned from your conversations about the different ideas. Ask yourself, how does your idea fit in the context of people's actual lives? Your solution could be a combination of a new idea and what is already being used. Then connect the dots, sketch up your final solution, and go build a real prototype that's just good enough to be tested.
Okay, so this is going to be very important stage. Once your idea, if you find this is very feasible to go ahead, so we are going to create a prototype here. Okay, so this is where you are going to put all your analysis, all your knowledge together and create a prototype. Okay, so when you are creating prototype, okay, so we majorly take care of three things. So one is the creation of experience, and next thing is the getting feedback, and the third is iteration. Okay, so these three things are very important at the prototype stage. So creation of experiences, like what are the knowledge you have, what are the experience we have from a group of team, put all together and create a product there or create an application, whatever. Okay, so once you're done with it, we need to get the feedback. So before going it into the market or before it is going to the end user, what we do, we'll get the feedback initially. Okay, so what we are going to talk with the user, I mean not everyone, we'll take a few users over there, and we'll give this prototype to them, and we'll make communication with them, ask them to experience the product like what you have developed. Okay, and get some feedback over there. Okay, and then we are going to do the iteration. Iteration means if the end product is not satisfied, what we do, we have to rethink and about our idea and the process. Okay, so for creating prototyping, I'm giving the guidelines here. So So take a first step and start building a small prototype. Okay, don't waste much time on building a single prototype. I mean, so these are the few guidelines for creating the prototype, where it's all up to the individual, where we can create our own prototyping based on the knowledge which we have. Okay, so the prototype must be built with the end user in the mind, because whatever you are creating, it should not go in a vain, right? It has to meet your meet the user requirements over there. And moreover, the prototype which you are created should not be as a piece of waste, just now I have mentioned. So it should create an experience, like he should feel it like, okay, he's getting something from the prototype what you have developed. Okay, it's like a small scale of the real object. Okay, prototype is not something like you just create it and make show it up. It's not exactly, that's not the prototype. Prototype is exactly the same output but with a smaller scale. Okay, and think and open questions that user can shoot towards you, because this is how it will helpful you to understand whether our product is doing good or not. So this is a feedback stage. Okay, and once prototype is developed, these are the few steps need to be followed. Okay, I'm looking a little fast up here because we are running out of the time. Okay, so to make the user end the prototyping, make him to understand the experience, let him experience the prototype what you have developed over there completely, and follow up him, yeah. So throughout the experience, so make the speaker about the moment by moment. So don't rush in, get the like output from him, like what the feedback from him. So let the wait to go by moment of your product. So that gives you much more information as a design thinker for you. Okay, so yeah, so these are the few steps you need to be followed once you have developed the prototype over there. Okay, and we are going with the last stage in the designing process. This is testing stage. Okay, this is where we are going to keep our prototype and we'll see the results, and after if test is approved, then your what are the product or idea what you have made it is being go to the end user. Okay, I'll play this video.
Step 5. Test. Now test your prototype with actual users. Don't defend your idea in case people don't like it. The point is to learn what works and what didn't, so any feedback is great. Then go back to ideation or prototyping and apply your learning. Repeat the process until you have a prototype that works and solves the real problem. Now you are ready to change the world or open shop.
Okay, so this is a stage we do check. So at this stage, as a design thinker, you will be there, and the end user will be there, and accessory requirement persons, everyone will be together. Okay, so at this test stage, we call this as an executing stage. So this is very crucial, because once you're done with this stage, you're go ahead into the real world like implementation. Okay, so this is where the final solution is tested on a full scale basis before releasing or before giving it to the end user. Okay, so the testing will help us to understand what works actually. So what our prototype is working, being there. And this step can be most rewarding if your prototype is succeeded to give the positive results. If not, it's going to be most annoying if your prototype fails here. Okay, so this is a very crucial stage, whether your prototype can go ahead into the market. I mean, not the prototype, the actual one will go into the market or to the end user. Okay, after testing the entire process, the design thinking may have to be repeated. If the customer is not satisfied, then what we have to do, we have to recheck the process again, like where we went wrong and where the things are not going fine. So why we are not addressing the user problem. So we need to reiterate the problem here. Okay, if the end user approves the solution, then the process of the design thinking do stops here. Okay, yeah, so this is the last slide where I would like to mention you. See, if you observe this diagram, so this is the iterative phase. Okay, initially we made empathize. Okay, means we have collecting lot of resource information. So it's like a diverging state. We are getting so much information from the users as well. So once the empathize stage is completed, we are defining the problem statement, right? So that you can see the converging means we are narrowing down to the specific problem where the user want to be addressed. Okay, so once we know the problem statement, and then we again put some much more ideas where it is showing the diverging section for us, means you can have plenty of ideas to solve this problem. Okay, and when you got the so many ideas at the prototype, we are not going to put all ideas into the prototype. So we are going to go with feasible ideas and we create the prototype. So it's again converging, which is narrowing down to the application base. So once the prototype is done, we do test and get the feedback, and we'll see at what stage. It's not need to be every time to go to the empathize. If the idea is not good, we'll go back from the idea, we'll iterate the process and go prototype. If your problem statement is wrong, then we go back to the empathize state, and then we again get the information, and the cycle will be keep on repeating until the user is satisfied. Okay, so this is how the design thinking process do happen. So when you take any project, so try to make the project in such a manner. So when you do such a manner, your project is going to be very valuable, and it's going to give you very fruitful and promising results to the end users. Yeah, so this is all about the design thinking for today's session. Yeah, so I'm done with this for design thinking.
Yes.
So you can post me a questions so we can have a discussion.
Yes, thank you, sir. So, students, now if you have any questions, then you can unmute yourself and you can ask the question. Yes, Priya, you want to say something?
No, ma'am, nothing.
Okay. Uh, do you have any doubt? Any student? Is there
No,
anything
ma'am.
which you want to
No,
mention
ma'am.
again? You want to know more about?
No, ma'am.
No,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. So, have you enjoyed today's session?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Yes,
to
ma'am.
summarize, yes, yes. Someone was saying something.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, someone was saying something.
Use ma'am.
Okay. So, can anyone summarize today's session? What you have learned in today's session? Purnima, Priyanshi, Priyanka, anyone? Yeah.
To search for the problems and find the ways to resolve it.
Yeah. Yes. Correct.
Ma'am, we learned about the assessment.
Yeah.
Ma'am, we learned that how can we make our projects and how can we think ideas.
Perfect. Yes.
Ma'am, how
Ma'am,
we can help to solve problems, ma'am.
Yes.
We solve real life problems by
We
further.
learned how to solve problems, ma'am.
Yes.
ma'am,
So,
we learned designing.
Ma'am, we learned and how the 5 processes of designing.
yes, yes, yes. So now there is a lot of noise it's creating. Yeah, you are correct, student. So in today's session, we have learned how to brainstorm, how to think in a particular way to figure out, to find out the particular problem and then figure out the solution for particular problem. So yes, so this is how we have done with today's session. So thank you, sir, for being here and delivering this very good session to us.
Thank you so much. I would like to thank the students because they have been very interactive